Hi, small group leaders. We are preparing for June 7th for kindergarten through second grade small groups. As we make plans to regather with our kids in our groups, thank you so much for being willing to step in and lead with your group of kids. It has been so encouraging to know that you guys are ready to be with kids just as much as I have been for 2 months now. As you are preparing to come, I want to point out a few things that you will notice are different. The biggest thing that you will notice is that we are going to separate groups into age-specific groups with their own classroom space to use as just theirs. I've talked to many of you, and I know many of you are excited about this. Please know that we have done everything possible to make it easy for you to teach the Bible story still. We have recorded everything that you would typically have in a large group time on and put that on DVD, and that is ready for you to go in your box of goodies that you will have during your session today. And so we prepared that a few weeks ago. It should help you in teaching the story. Realize that also, because you have control of the entire hour with your group, if you wanted to watch that video more than once so that you can have a different discussion, feel free to do that. That is the beauty of what we're getting to do right now. As we are keeping one age group together, I need you to be mindful of a couple of things. In the classrooms that you are in, we need you to stay out of the cabinets and out of the bathroom. There's no reason for our big kids to be in a little tiny kid bathroom. If a kid does need to go to the bathroom, I ask for you to ask your teen helper that is in the room with you to take another kid with them. So 2 kids and 1 leader to the bathroom together. Even if that other kid doesn't need to go to the bathroom, we're going to follow safe procedures and make sure that everybody has a partner and is doing things together. So kids can walk down the hallway to the bathroom. Your teen helper, part of the crew, will be there to help you. They are also there to help lead games that help spend time with your kids. As you will notice that everything in the room, except for the things on the wall, is less for each room. That is so that we do not have to sanitize every single thing every single day of the week, because we have people in all of our rooms most every day of the week at Parkway. So when you get to your small group room, you have control over your schedule. If you would like to keep it like we typically do it, I highly recommend that. The kids are used to that. When they are used to things, it's a whole lot easier to keep going with what they're used to. But if you see a way that you could tweak that a little bit, feel free to do that. We'd like for you to use all of the tools that we have given you. Each service will have their own separate bucket of supplies that will only get used during that service each week. So when you are done with your service and have finished all of your activities, lay your bucket out in the hallway, and we will come pick it up and put it away and get the new bucket ready for the next group of kids. If you are the last person in the group on that day, if you could bring your bucket out with you once you have cleared out the classroom and put it on our racks, we would appreciate that as well. All right, and so let's get to the lesson today, all right? Today, our lesson is called From Adam to Jesus. As you will remember, when you look at this, way back when we were all together again, we had just finished making it through the Old Testament. What we're doing today is remembering everything that we learned while we were journeying through the Old Testament. We'll be looking at stories from Abraham and stories from Ruth and stories from, let me see what the other names, Jacob and David and John, as John prepared the way for Jesus to be born. And so what we want kids to get out of this lesson is that the big picture of what God gave us in the Bible is that He sent the perfect rescuer for us, and His design from the very beginning of time was that Jesus would be our rescuer to come and help us from being separated from God, which was the result of sin. So, in your lesson today, you have your social activity, and this might be a game that the kids enjoy doing. So, if you want to do this to fill time, you are welcome to do that. For now, you have 6 big dice. If the big dice doesn't work for this game, let us know. We can gladly give you little dice. Just sometimes the little dice are hard to keep up with, especially in our crazy carpets. All right, and so it's kind of a sequences game, or maybe kind of like Yahtzee. I'm trying to remember another game I've played. There's another card game where you make a run of the same of like a 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. And so it's kind of like that. So what you're trying to do is each kid is going to try to roll, and starting with a 1, a series of numbers. And so hopefully it all lines up where they get a 1, a 2, a 3, or 4, but it all has to start with a 1. So they have to at least get a 1 or a 1, 2, or a 1, 2, 3, if that makes sense. Okay. And then there's a scorecard in there so that you can give points if you would like to do that. And there's pencils in your box as well so that you can get the kids to keep up with their score. You also will have your crew member. Your crew member are teenagers who have expressed interest in learning some more about ministry. Some of them are exploring a call to ministry for full time. And so this summer, they are spending extra time with our summer intern, Jesselyn, learning and growing together. And they will get the chance to test out all of the things that they're learning together as they serve with you in that small group and build relationships with the kids along the way. All right, so your crew member can help you take the score and keep up with everybody's score if that would be helpful. You could even have them run the game if you'd like to do that. All right, so we talked about what the lesson is over. There's a few resources here for you that I want you to know about. This one helps us remember the family line of Jesus, where we've come from in the Old Testament. And this one, it also helps us remember all of the lessons we've done this past school year that help lead up to where we are today. And so those are tools for you to help kids remember all of the things that they've learned. I would expect that most of our kids that are coming back to see us have been with us at some point. So they will be able to possibly recall. You may have to help them a lot with recalling that information. And then the other activity that you have, I think could be a whole lot of fun. This one was super creative, and what you're doing is giving each kid a piece of paper with their pencil and asking them to draw a picture, or if they don't like drawing, they could write a story. I'm assuming that some of our littler ones, still drawing pictures is the best for them. And so what you're going to do to remember about Abraham is, as you talk about Abraham, talking about Abraham helps me remember one of the oldest people in my family. Ask the kids to tell a story or draw a picture about what the oldest person in their family looks like. And you know what? Because you have the time right now, this is going to be even more fun because you can get each kid to tell you that story as they are drawing it or talking it out. Remember, your crew member is there as well. So if you wanted to give them a small group of kids to go and do this with, so that you can have another small group where we will see how many kids that we actually have this next week. But feel free to use that person in your group as a way to help build that relationship and do these activities with you. And so they'll continue to fill those in, and your instructions are really super clear on how to do that. And then your memory verse activity could be another. Might be challenging for some of our pre-readers activity, especially this very first week. So maybe you just want to take the kind of bingo card, if you will, and have the kids read the memory verse to you. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. And then you're going to cover up the squares with your sticky notes, and I'm trying to remember how kids are supposed to pick All right, well, so if they're really good at reading, they're probably going to figure this out because you can see the word through the paper. But what they're supposed to do is after you've covered it all up, they're supposed to pick a square and guess what word might be under that square. So it may take a few times of testing, of practicing it together, but as we continue to do this activity throughout the entire series, I'm sure that they will begin to learn this memory verse. Something to keep in mind as you learn that memory verse, if you didn't know this, every time the word word is mentioned, we're actually talking about Jesus. Jesus is considered the word in this part of John. When God is telling us that Jesus was with him at the beginning, what he is telling us is that he is perfectly God and perfectly man, that those are not separated from each other, that was God's design so that there would be a way for us to have relationship with him, which was the perfect sacrificial lamb. All right. And then you can pray. You'll also have coloring pages that you can do in your classrooms with your kiddos. If you'd like to take them outside, you are welcome to take them outside. Make sure that everybody is back in place in their rooms before the parents come get them. We're trying to minimize groups mixing together. So please make sure that you are keeping up with your small group and staying with your small group only when you are outside together. And as we continue to learn and figure out what we can do to keep everybody safe, I appreciate your patience and kindness in helping us understand what to do. The other thing to keep in mind is we need you guys to do your own self checklist to make sure that you and everyone in your household is symptom free. If there's anybody in your household, or if you've been close to someone through your work or somewhere else where you feel like you might have come in contact with the virus, please do your self-screening so that we don't have to be the ones that send you home. We know in this season that people need to be extra cautious, and we'd like for you to continue to help us manage that as well. Thank you so much for leading. I look forward to seeing you guys soon.